Well, welcome to the session on keys to good communication. And I know if you're here and you have a heart for the lost, you want to make sure that you're communicating well, communicating clearly the gospel message when you go out. And so we hope in this session you're going to get some keys that will really help you as you reach out. So first key is practice, practice, practice. Now, nothing can replace practice. When you go out to share the gospel, if you have not learned how to share using one of the tools, you go out and try and wing it, it will not go well. That's just reality. It's like any other skill. If you try and go and build a house and you've got no training, you've had no experience, you're not going to do a great job building the house. Whatever the discipline is. Playing a sport. Play the sport for the first time and you will not do too well at it. Because it takes practice. And it's the same with sharing the gospel. Practice, practice, practice. Find someone you can sit down with, a Christian friend, and just go through the presentation until you feel comfortable with it. And more importantly, until the person feels comfortable with it. You've got to get used to it, and the only way of doing that is to practice it. So the first key to good communication is practice, practice, practice. Second key, be prepared. When you go out, make sure you've got your booklet on you, somewhere where you can easily access it, ideally just in your hand. It's clean, it's open, you've got the front page ready to go. You've got a follow-up little booklet, something that you can give away at the end of it. Because remember, these aren't to be given away, you reuse these. But the little booklet that goes with it, you need to have them on you and they need to be ready. Ideally, have your name and number in the back or whatever contact details you want to use. Have them already pre-written in the back. Because you don't want to get up to a person and be fumbling for the tools. Excuse me, can you just help me? It's just going to hinder your effectiveness in communicating. So, second thing is be prepared. Next key is breath and body odor. Please do not underestimate bad breath and poor body odor in your communication, because you won't even get to communicate the gospel. You walk up and you do a little intro, excuse me, can you help me? And the person's passed out, unconscious because of the smell of your breath. It's a serious issue. Check it. Probably better to get someone else to check it. Just warn them. Get them to psych themselves up before you do it, and don't breathe too heavily, just a little. Just for their protection. But check it. If it's bad, don't stress. Just chuck a mint in or get some mouthwash. Likewise with body odor, if you sweat a lot, I tend to sweat it quite a bit. So just get some underarm deodorant. Make sure that you smell good. It's going to help you. More importantly, it's going to help the people you're trying to reach out to. So good breath and good body odor. Next, appearance. You want to try and look similar to the people you're reaching. I mean, if you're going to have a beach outreach and you're walking along the sand, don't get dressed in a three-piece suit. You're going to be trudging out there in your three-piece suit. You're not even going to get to the gospel. The person's just probably going to run away going, what is this weirdo doing? It's going to put a big barrier up between you and them. And likewise, go to a business lunch, don't turn up and you're trying to share with someone there. Don't turn up in a pair of Speedos. Again, it's not going to help you. You may get arrested. Again, not good. So, appearance, just try and dress to a similar level to the group you're trying to reach. Next, choosing the right situation. This is a real key. Because when you go out to share the gospel, not everyone is going to be available or in a good position to share with. That's just reality. Some of the things to look for if you're wanting to get a good situation. One, the person looks like they have time on their hands. That's important. You don't want to get someone who's running down the road with a bag of shopping. They're not ready. Two, they're not surrounded by others who could overhear the conversation. Because you don't want them to feel awkward. They're already probably going to feel a little bit awkward. But if there's lots of people around overhearing, it's not going to help. Another key to finding the right situation is there room to sit next to them. Because you don't want to be standing over a person trying to share. You ideally want to eventually just sit next to them and take them through the message. So that's another one. Are they preoccupied watching children or watching sports? Again, it's not going to help because you want their attention to be on the presentation. Another thing to look for, is there a lot of noise around them? You know, if you're on a main road and there's cars just piling, you know, semi-trailers, it's not going to help with your presentation, so you're better off just finding someone else who's away from the noise in a quieter place. Another thing, is there enough room around them so they don't feel trapped? You know, if someone's in a corner of a cafe, it may not be ideal to kind of rock up and block them in. You know, you're partway through and then you check them as they're trying to leave. It's not a good look. Again, you may get arrested for doing that, so avoid that. But really, it's a common sense issue. You know, if it's Valentine's evening and you're in a restaurant and you look across and there's a couple having a candlelit dinner, don't try and rock up with a book and say, "G'day, matey, how you going? Have you done the test yet? What about you, love?" It's not going to help. All right, so choose the right situation. It's common sense, but some of those keys we've just gone through, that'll help you and give you a better chance of having a good encounter with someone as you share the gospel with them. So next, body language. Again, it is common sense. I mean, you don't want to get too close to a person. If you rock up to them and you're right, you know, their forehead's there and you're here, it's going to be awkward. If you're too far away from them, so they can't hear, like, "Excuse me, mate, can you you know, they're like half a football field away. It won't help with you in your communication. Again, things like standing over a person, you want to avoid that. You don't want to be doing that. Just some basic things. Body language, when you're going through the booklet, you don't want to be doing too much pointing, you know. You want to keep it very steady with your body language. Just keep it simple and just turning the pages. The less movement, often the better. You know, you don't want to be going like this. And over here, it says here. And then we've got the next page. It's going to hinder them understanding the message. So, body language, another key. Tone of voice. You want to try and, again, connect with the person. So your tone of your voice plays a role in that. By being gentle and relaxed, we can help put them at ease. And if our speech is as natural as possible, again, that's going to help. And all the practice you do will cultivate that. Right? But tone of voice is important. Just wanting to put the person at ease through, you know, a good tone of voice. Next is the angle of the booklet. We need to remember that the booklet is primarily for the person listening, not for us. So if you walk up to a person, they're here, there's not much point in you doing this. And you see the picture here, and there's a big barrier here. They don't get it. You've got to have the book, so the angle of the booklet is for them. And so you want to make sure that they have a good view of the booklet. That's another good key. Intensity level. We want to connect with the person where they're at. So if you get a person who is really intense and bouncing off the walls, and you want to make sure you up your intensity level so you're at least matching them. So you're excited, you're speaking quicker. But if they're just kind of relaxed and chilling out by the beach, you know, you just want to be relaxed as well and just, again, connect with where they're at. And you may go through the booklet a little bit slower with that person, just because that's where they're at. Okay, so intensity level, trying to get to where that person's at in the intensity level. Next, speed of delivery. Generally speaking, we want to make sure we're turning the pages fairly regularly. You do not want to have 20 minutes on one page. The person looking is going to say, "Oh my goodness, we've been 20 minutes on that page. I can count at least 5 or 6 more pages. I have not got all day. I'm out of here." So make sure you're turning the pages pretty consistently. The delivery is steady. Not too fast, not too slow, but just steady. And some of the live footage you'll see, you'll be able to pick up the speed of delivery. It's another important point for communicating well. We're going to leave on this one is eye contact. When you approach a person, you definitely want to have some eye contact. And when you're leaving them and thanking them for listening and taking part, eye contact. But when you're working through the presentation, for the most part, you want to have their eyes on the booklet. And the way to get their eyes on the booklet is to make sure your eyes generally are on the booklet yourself. If you're like this the whole time, their head is going to go like this as well. You don't want that. You want them focused on the booklet, and just as you're turning, keeping your eyes down here, their eyes are down here, and so it's going to help them understand the message. So they're just a couple of keys for good communication. If you apply them to your life, to your evangelism, I believe they will help, especially if you're not doing some of the basic ones and wondering why people aren't listening to you. Maybe this has clarified why. And in everything we do, we want to keep improving. So take these principles, apply them to your evangelism, and I hope it helps. Thanks.